What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Crunch Time. Actually, no. What is it? Not Crunch Time. That was the last show. This is the pre-lock NFL show here on RotoGrinders. I am Brit Devine with the prop master himself, Will Priester, Chief Justice 06. Will, we got a showdown slate here, but it's a a great time to be in sports, props, sports betting on RotoGrinders, listening. It's just nonstop action game, unless you were on FanDuel for the earlier slates. There was nothing happening over there, but looks like everything's going good for the late slate on FanDuel right now. What's going on?
Yeah, man, going pretty well. Hopefully, we help these people do their thing and put a few more dollars in their pockets. Man, excited to get rolling yet again here. Talk some DFS, probably sprinkle in a few props, and let's handle our business.
Yeah, so we got this showdown slate here. We got the Chargers and the Jaguars. I'm going to start off. I think I've been on so many shows today. Maybe you guys have already heard. I think Vegas has this game wrong. I think the Jaguars should be the favorites in this game, or at least like a pick 'em. I don't know. I don't understand why the Chargers, down, a very good wide receiver, are still 2.5-point favorites into this game.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, or which side are you on? I know you don't have the sports books, you have all the prop sites. What's your take on this game overall right now?
I think the Jaguars win as well, and for that reason, the Chargers are probably going to win. I've been off today, man.
Don't say that, Chief. I need the Jags.
I think I'm right though. I think I'm right. So that's my read. I think Jaguars at home, they've been playing well, had some momentum. The Chargers have had their momentum as well, Britt. But once again, these idiots played their starters in a meaningless game last week, and now they're down their outside receiver in a playoff game. It's their own fault that they're going to lose this game today.
Yeah, I don't understand that. We talk about – I've talked all week long on the shows and even with you, rational coaching. And maybe you play those guys a drive, maybe 2 drives, right, to keep the consistency of the game flow and your game preparation. But there's no reason to play these guys in the third quarter. Then when 2 of them get hurt, to continue playing your starters makes absolutely no sense. They're not going to fire, the head coach over something like that. But those are close to fireable offenses. If they win the Super Bowl or advance in the playoffs, no one's going to care about it. But it just seems absolutely ridiculous to me that you would do something like that. Or you have the Giants and Brian Dable are like, hey, we don't have anything to play for. We're going to rest our guys. Seems pretty logical. I could, again, playing a drive or 2, cool. Anything more than that seems a little crazy. But we need these guys to play all 4 quarters tonight, Chief, because we're playing Showdown. We're playing on FanDuel. We got the MVP spot. We're playing on DraftKings. We've got the captain spot. We're after this first game where it was sort of an offensive explosion, right? If you didn't have Deebo Samuel and Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey and DK Metcalf, you're not cashing anything over there. So maybe let's come through this from a different perspective. Who's the guy? Who are like 3 guys? If you don't have these 3 guys tonight, who are you going to be looking at? Being like, man, I'm so stupid. It was so obvious. Who are these guys?
Well, it's Eckler, it's Keenan Allen, and I think it's Trevor Lawrence. I mean, and I know those are obvious, but come on, like you better have those 3 in there. And I know, like really, it could be Herbert too, because Herbert's going to be distributing to Eckler and Allen. I get it, but I think Lawrence is in play tonight, man. I like him a ton.
Yeah, I like ETN. I think he's in store for a big game. I hope the Jaguars, again, rational coaching, decide to run the ball quite a bit against the Chargers, because all season long, anyone has been able to do that. Why wouldn't you want to do that at home in a playoff game? Establish the run, right? You never want to hear it, but sometimes, yeah, you want to do that against the Chargers, and that's I think ETN. I am totally on board with you with Eckler and Keenan Allen. These guys are going to be massive usage monsters. If Keenan Allen doesn't end this game with 12 targets and Austin Eckler doesn't end the game with 10 targets, it is a complete wasted game plan from the Chargers. These are the guys you got to get the ball into their hands, let them do their work, let Keenan Allen operate, let Austin Eckler operate. You can let Eckler run a little bit, but I'm much more likely to expect him to be used in the passing game. hence the over 37.5 yards I like on Austin Eckler receiving yards. Chief, I know we were on the prop shop. I think we got it at 35.5 on the prop sites. I even went as a straight bet. I got it at 37.5 on the sports books. I'm okay with that if you're looking for a prop bet. That's one of my favorites. Keenan Allen, I think he's probably juiced up about to where he should be. So I'm preferring the Austin Eckler route right there. So I'm with you on that. From a DFS perspective, let's start on FanDuel, maybe where we have the MVP spot. We've got projected ownership pretty even across the, Keenan Allen sort of dropped down a little bit, which I think is probably a mistake. If people aren't playing Keenan Allen in the MVP spot, this dude, if he had 14 targets, 11 receptions, 106 yards, and a touchdown, that's going to compete up towards the top of an MVP. And I think that's a pretty realistic stat line from him tonight. Why is he so low owned, at least on FanDuel, in the MVP spot? And I know guys like Eckler and even ETN and Herbert, these guys can get their quarterbacks. But, I mean, Keenan Allen could easily be the guy you got to have in the MVP spot on FanDuel tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you 100%. Definitely agree on Allen. So I think what it is, I think sometimes we devalue half-point PPR probably a little bit too much. And I think that's why the ownership probably isn't there. The other thing on FanDuel, which I know we talk about, is the fact that because there's no salary penalty, people tend to just take the highest raw points play. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And Allen probably doesn't have as much touchdown equity as Eckler. I think Eckler does have more touchdown equity, but like you talked about, I mean, Allen could have 10 catches in this game, 100 yards as a touchdown. And if so, I mean, he's sitting there, well over 20 fantasy points if that occurs, with upside for more depending on what happens around the goal line. In terms of some sort of a pick play, if he catches 2 touchdowns, he's probably the MVP tonight. So yeah, I'm with you on Allen. I do think I side Eckler a little bit just because of the touchdown equity, but it's not as much as you think. So I'm with you. I love Allen in the MVP for sure.
Let's go to DraftKings from the captain. Let's take a look at that. That's where we're all starting our lineups. A little more spread out because the salary counts here. Eckler, number one, I have no problem playing Austin Eckler. I expect him to have a big game. Without Mike Williams, he really becomes the secondary or first focal point of just about every play along with Keenan Allen. These dudes are going to get fed tonight if the Chargers have any resemblance of a decent head coach here tonight. The other guys, right, so Herbert, I mean, if Eckler has a big night receiving, I mean, he could certainly get there. Herbert's probably getting there. Allen. It looks like everyone's in on the Chargers in the captain spot, right? The top 3. That's leaving ETN, Lawrence, and then some of the more ancillary pieces. If I like Jacksonville to win this game, I'm certainly going to try to be over ETN in the captain spot. 100 plus a touchdown, a couple of receptions. He's on his way to 25 DraftKings points pretty easily. I think Lawrence could certainly get there. Those are probably where I draw the line of the guys I definitely want to have. From the receiver spots, I don't know. It's always very tough for me to try to figure out, is it going to be Kirk? Is it going to be Jones? Is it going to be Ingram? Do you have a preference between the 3 of them on which one would be the most likely captain to go off or player to go off in general?
I mean, Zay Jones has kind of been my guy all season. I think I'm just going to stick with him tonight and just roll with what's carried me the whole season. But I know it could be any of them, and that's the weird part. I do think your captain needs to come from the Chargers tonight because they have a more condensed production pool. It's Herbert, it's Eckler, it's Allen. Like those are their top 3 guys. I think we talked about this on the Blitz that Eckler and Allen are probably going to take up 45-ish to 48% of the targets tonight. Like they're going to be, I mean, if Herbert throws it 40 times, let's say Herbert throws it 40 times, Brett, they're probably going to get, I would say Allen has 10 plus and Eckler's pushing 8. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they're gonna hog up pretty much all of the target, or not all, but a fair amount of the target share. I think your captain comes from one of those sides, and I could be wrong, but I'm kind of avoiding Jaguars captains and going full blown Eckler, Herbert, Allen, because I just think they've got more upside than anybody else.
Let's move away from maybe the captain talk and talk more of any deep sleeper plays you're liking. If I'm looking at the overall ownership projection, you get down in that 4K and below range. We've got DeAndre Carter, Marvin Jones. We've got the kickers. We've got both defenses. You got a favorite of maybe all of those plays of, the cheapest, reasonably good play you're looking to play overall, maybe even a flex spot?
I like Riley Patterson tonight just because I think they'll be able to move the ball some. I think Riley Patterson is my kicker. In terms of wide receiver, I mean, I think you're stuck between Jones and Carter. If I had to go with, and I know you asked about deep sleeper, he is getting some ownership. I think deep sleeper is probably Jamal Agnew, and it's not like I'm playing him in a ton of lineups. I think what you're hoping is, one, maybe he runs a kickback. Perhaps he runs a kickback, and then two, he catches 2 passes for 12 yards and a touchdown. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's what you're going to need from him: 2 passes, 12 yards, touchdown. If he gets a little over 10 fantasy points at 1,600, I think he's getting close to optimal.
Yeah, if you play Agnew and Jaguar, you got to double dip, Chief, right? You got to double dip in these situations. To get you got to get both of them. You can play Eckler, Keenan. Can Lawrence fit in there? What am I? Oh no, I mean, you could basically fit all the guys you want to play in there. Maybe instead of Lawrence, you play. Who am I missing in here? No, Eckler in there. Yeah, he's already in the captain spot. But if you do that, you can basically pick the top actual players. If that was that, I don't hate that from not in regular a DFS slate, but in Showdown, Agnew running one back. If I like the Jaguars to win anyway, why wouldn't I want to play their defense? If as a cheap play, double dipping there, I think makes a little bit of sense. And I like Carter a little bit at 3K. I know he's reasonably popular at 20%. Everyone with a pulse is going to be, but he's going to be on the field. He has the ability to have a decent game here. If for some reason, like if you're the Jaguars defense, you would envision their game plan would be this Keenan Allen guy. He's going to catch a lot of passes tonight. Maybe we try to slow him down. And this Austin Eckler guy, he's probably going to catch a lot of passes because we've been giving up passes all year long to the running backs. Maybe we try something different, and I don't know. And maybe a couple of these ancillary guys get there. So I think Carter, I don't even know, I'm not a defensive coach or anything like that, but you would think at some point they'd try to maybe take some of these away in the playoffs. So I like Carter as a cheap play if you were trying to get something like that. From a lineup construction, 3-3, 4-2. 5-1. I think the 5-1 ran away with it in this 49ers game. That's when you get the blowouts. That's generally how it happens. You had Purdy, you had the kicker, McCaffrey, Debo.
And I don't see that happening in this game, by the way.
Yeah, you think
not at
this
all.
Is going to be so? If the 4-2, the 3-3, it's really tough for me. Like, I don't play 100. I have made like 5 hand build teams, and I think I have Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler in all of them, right? Because I think they're probably, these guys should be the focal point of the offense. If you had to take one of those are your top guys, if you had to forego one of those tonight, which would be the one you might take a back seat on in an attempt to maybe diversify and get a little different?
Man, as crazy as this sounds, I think you probably forego Herbert. I don't feel comfortable fading Eckler and Allen tonight, even though Herbert's getting them the ball. So here's the thing. I think we think Keenan Allen has 8 to 12 catch upside tonight. And I know that's like a 4 catch range, but the type of targets that he gets, he's got pretty sure hands. he's typically going to catch his passes. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have a whole lot of down the field, a lot of, intermediate routes and stuff like that. So he's just got opportunities to rack up catches. And then with Eckler, his are the same way. Joshua Palmer is going to be the home run hitter if anybody's going downfield. Mm-hmm. So I just don't feel comfortable fading Allen and Eckler because I think we're getting, let's call it 15 catch floor between both of them. 14, 15, somewhere up in there. But you've got upside for like 20 plus catches between these guys. I'm saying you do. Like, Allen could catch 12, 13 balls. Eckler could catch 7, 8 balls. And I mean, I just don't feel comfortable fading those two.
Let's see here. Just looking for anything else. The Chargers kicker. Why are we not on him? Because the Chargers like to go for it on fourth down too much.
They've kicked a lot more than they have in the past. But Jaguars are at home. I think they're going to be able to move the ball, and I think they'll stall out a little bit on more of these drives than the Chargers, for what it's worth. So I like it. Chargers are a young team, just getting into the playoffs. I'm expecting them to stall a little bit, and so that's really why I'm on Riley Patterson. Plus, Doug Peterson is going to take the points too.
Yeah, Doug Peterson is definitely going to take the points without question if he can get the field goals in here. I want to see if you guys have any questions in the NFL Discord crunch time. We'll look at that on the Discord for the premium members. If you guys have any questions on YouTube, please pop them in here. Chief, what does a contrarian lineup look like tonight? What do we think, right? Allen, Eckler, pick your quarterback, pick a Palmer, pick a kicker, right? That's the normal lineup. What does a contrarian look like tonight that could rocket you up the leaderboard if the game goes awry? If it's a defensive game, if it's a high scoring game, pick one of these outliers and give me a build maybe the people could throw in there as a contrarian lineup.
Okay, so here's one that's slightly contrarian. If you think it's a crazy defensive game, hear me out, Brit. Both running backs, a receiver from both, no quarterbacks. You're not going to see any Bills without quarterbacks tonight.
You will be in first place if that is the build that comes through tonight.
But that's what you said out of the box. So I'm saying Allen and captain, instead of playing one of the quarterbacks, you play Eckler and Etienne, right? Because watch this. What if Allen goes for, I don't know,
you can go 11 for 122 and no touchdown.
Yeah. So he's still there. What's his name? Herbert throws one touchdown, and it's to Eckler, right, on some like little screen. Mm-hmm. Travis Etienne has 2 touchdowns on the ground, hits him for like 20 carries, 105 and 2 catches for like 10 yards. And Trevor Lawrence has 240 yards passing, 1 touchdown to Christian Kirk, and the rest are field goals. So a contrarian that I have right now, Allen, Eckler, Etienne, Riley Patterson at kicker. And then now I've got two spots where I say, okay, I've got 2 spots at 5,700. And I'm kind of playing this weird game. Maybe I just plug in Joshua Palmer. Mm-hmm. Maybe Joshua Palmer catches the big touchdown, right? Yeah, he catches the big touchdown.
Yeah, with a JAX D. I literally just built that as we were talking through this here.
Yeah, or you could do JAX D. However, like it's a 0 quarterback build. You asked me to get froggy. I jumped. I leaped. And this is what came to mind. Skill position players get it done. Quarterbacks don't quite get there. And you win all the money.
Yeah, I have. So I just, as Chief was talking through, I got, this is on DraftKings. Eckler captain, Jaguars D, Etienne, Allen, Patterson. You got 7,100 left. I mean, you can fit in, you can leave a lot of salary You could play a guy like a Josh Palmer in that lineup. You can take your pick of Evan Ingram, Zay Jones, or one of the ancillary pieces and really hope for something strange to happen. Without a quarterback, definitely, the odds of that are very low, but when it does hit, you would be on your way up there. And that's more of the Jaguars win, right? Because I got the Jaguars D in here. I got the Jaguars kicker. This is me thinking, 21-7, something like, maybe not, because I got the kicker. So give me like a 24, something like that, 7, where Herbert and the Chargers don't really score too much.
Well, I hope it ends up not like that, because I'm expecting this game to shoot out. So I hope we haven't used up our one shootout game in the playoffs on Saturday in the San Francisco game. Jesus.
Yeah, the San Francisco offense is a total juggernaut. If it's going to be, they'll cruise until they get to the Eagles, and then we'll, I think it's going to be, it's the Eagles, the 49ers, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bengals. These are the only teams that have a shot at the Super Bowl. There's no question about that. Any other team is just literally has 0% chance.
Wait until this big Minnesota win tomorrow against the Giants.
Well, sure. I hope for that, because I will bet the house against the Vikings in the next round without question. So I should look at the look-ahead lines to see if you can see what the 49ers would be in a matchup against the Vikings. Because after this game, it's probably going to be pretty high. But if the Vikings go nuts, it's definitely going to come down. But we'll have to see on that. Me and you are all over the props in that Vikings-Giants game. We like a lot of offensive fireworks in that game too. So hopefully we see him tonight. Hopefully we see him tomorrow in that game, at least for our personal bankrolls. I haven't really seen too many questions coming in here. So I guess maybe let's talk some sports bets and some props that we're on. I mentioned Austin Eckler over 37.5. I like the Jags money line. I like the Jags -2, 2.5. I really like if you can get a 6-point teaser or a 7-point teaser. I don't know what the Bills are up to now, but if you can get the Bills under, even if you have to do alt spreads, if you do the Jags +9.5 and the Bills to -6.5, I think that is an absolutely excellent teaser. If those are your type of bets, you can kind of do the late game today with the Bills game tomorrow. I think the Bills will win. I always like getting under a touchdown, especially in this year's NFL, because this year's NFL has been pretty strange and low scoring. So those are a couple bets I'm on, Chief, along with Austin Eckler, 37.5 receiving yards. What do you got?
So for me in this spot, I'm taking Riley Patterson over 1.5 field goals. I'm taking Herbert over 37.5 attempts. Keenan Allen. I got a lot in early this week, but my main prop was him over 6.5 receptions. Like, that was kind of the nuke. But since then, I've gravitated to Keenan Allen over 9.5 targets. That's been my new one. For sure. Yeah. I actually took Evan Ingram under 7.5 targets. It's just outside of his 2 big games, Brit, where he had like 15 and 10. He's been 7 and under like all season. So I just don't see any reason for him to suddenly creep up to big targets tonight. Like, he's going to get targets, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying getting back up to 8, 9, they haven't done that in the past couple of weeks outside of these 2 big weeks he had. So I'm rolling with that one. I actually took Logan Cook over 3.5 punts. I do think the Chargers defense is good enough to make this team punt. A couple, I've already talked about the fact that the Jaguars are a young team, and so I do expect them to, have some weird moments. So 3.5 punts. And then I took Travis Etienne over 16 attempts. I think once they get running game, I think we see Etienne dial it up. I think he goes for 18 to 20 carries. So that's a good enough gap for me at 16 for me to feel good about it. And I get a little bit of push potential in case he stalls. You get what I'm saying? So that's a prop that I like.
You got any tackle props if we're on any of the prop sites?
Not really, like Ola McKeed. Oh my gosh. And I know how to pronounce his name when I look at it. So I got to look at it, Brett. But he's at 10.5. but he's had so many. Man, he's a tackle machine. But I'm kind of avoiding tackles in this particular game. I thought about taking some safety tackles just because I know the Chargers throw it so much, but I just kind of decided to fade it.
Yeah, I'm just looking through a couple of sports books. There's only like 2 minutes left here, so there's not really much to talk about. Let me just make sure I don't see any questions in Crunch Time chat. I don't really see any on YouTube. If you guys want to click the like button and if you'd enjoyed the show, we would greatly appreciate that. I'm coming in with a hot tip, Chief, on Nasir Adderley under 4.5 tackles. This is a hot tip if you can get that. I'm putting that in right now on a couple of sports books. If you can add that to any of your props, a late hot tip, you got about 2 minutes to get that in, Chief. This is going to be a 2 thumbs up. Get on that right now. Add that to a couple of your favorite props. I would get on that. I just put in a nice size bet on that. I don't know.
Under 4.5.
I'm hoping for,
Is that what they said? Under 4.5.
Adderley under 4.5. There's a hot tip on that one. Looking like he's not going to play too much tonight.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's about it for this show. Personally, how do you want to see this game go? I missed points in the NFL this year, Chief. And even though I was on the under in the San Francisco game, mainly my thought was that I didn't think Seattle was going to be able to do much at all. And outside of DK Metcalf, that was pretty much true. I like points. I think we all like points. We like action. We like back and forth games. We don't like 14 to 6 games. We don't like 20 to 3 games. We want a competitive game here. I want to see ETN have a big game. Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. I want lots of points. I'm pretty sure you do too.
Oh, yeah. Listen, man, I'm getting on these props you told me. So
yeah, go. It's locked. They're locked.
Yeah,
it's 8:15.
I'm getting that in. So no. They gave us the 8:18, Brit. They gave us 8:18.
Oh, 8:18, yeah.
I got 2 minutes and 50 seconds to get it in on Prize Picks.
I see.
And
someone says he wasn't working with the first team and defense on that particular one. So you never know.
Yeah, let me go to Ingram targets. I like that one. Okay, Brett, I'm getting. You know me, man. I'm getting my 6 flex in. But I've got it paired. I've got it paired with. Believe it or not, I've got it paired with Logan Cook punts and Riley Patterson field goals.
You're getting in the weeds, Chief. You could just take those Keenan Allen targets and call it a day.
Well, I can't. They're on the same team.
Well, yeah, I guess you do need a Jacksonville one or anything from tomorrow. There's a lot of ways to do it. Do you like playing? So I noticed you like to do all on the same day. Do you spread it out over?
Oh, Brit, you
any problem?
Yeah, I spread it out. Like so my main card was 2 props from today, 4 from tomorrow. So my main card was Keenan Allen over 6.5, Richie James over 4, Graham Gano over 1.5 field goals, Drew Chrisman over 3.5 punts against Baltimore. Cincinnati's going to win, but they're going to punt the ball. Trust me, Baltimore's going to play good defense. And I took Kenneth Walker under 60.5 yards and Zeke over 47.5. So that was my card. And you know the Zeke's on Monday. So that was like my full wild card. These are what I felt like were my top props. And that last Kenneth Walker run down 28 points in the fourth with 3 minutes left or 4 minutes left. That's what got me. I thought I was on my way to the big one, but it is what it is. I can still want it. You know,
talking to hot tips that I had for you on the tackle prop. Chief has in his prop shop. You guys gotta, if you play on any of the prop sites, into the prop shop. Chief, there is some tennis props. I know you guys are on big. Either tonight or tomorrow, go into the prop shop, search for some of that. You'll be able to get the words on that because they're like these almost too good to be true props. Chief, I don't know on scores and odds. I don't know what it seems like. PointsBet it seems like PointsBet every week does these weird things where they totally forget about a line. They gave me. I max bet this on as a prop on Resorts World. And I'm limited on PointsBet to a $25 prop, but Resorts World lets me get in 500. They had Deebo Samuel at 5.5 yards for a couple hours on rushing yards. I thought it was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. I put that in the prop shop. I put it up on Scores and Odds. Chiefs done a great job with the community this year in football. I know it's not the prop shop show. We do that every Tuesday, and that is by far my favorite show. But if you want to just get into more of the props on any of the prop sites, Prize Picks, Underdog, Thrive, Monkey Knife Fight, there's something in there for everybody. And the prop shop is the place on the internet to go for the latest and greatest misprints in odds and great plays. So make sure to check it out. I know that's where it all goes down, Chief.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we can roll this thing. I'm ready to keep stacking some dollars.
Yeah, let's go watch this game. I'm gonna have a beer. I'm going in the hot tub. And I'm not going to miss. I got till halftime, Chief. That's the wife told me I can do whatever I want till halftime, and then I got to go to bed. So I'm going in the hot tub. I'm having a drink. I'm going to watch some football. I hope for a good first half. I hope all of you win your bets, DFS contests. I'll be on tomorrow too. We got a couple of football, basketball shows tomorrow. There's for every football game that's on in the playoffs, at least this week, we're going to have a pre-lock show. So if you're playing Showdown, you're looking for a couple of bets, you can find that here on RotoGrinders as well. Lots of fun stuff going on all over. Other than that, have a good night, Chief. Any final words?
I am good to go. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, people. Me and Brit will see you at some point tomorrow.
All right. See you guys. For Chief, I'm Brit. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we out ya.